Hi, boys and girls. We're going to read another Nat Geo Big Book. But before we do, I want to tell you that we are starting a new unit. So with the letter I this week, we actually started Unit 4. And that is with things that grow. There's this plants and the seasons and growing. So that's where we're working on seasons also. This book is called Sofia and the Sunflower. Sophia is a girl's name, and the sunflower. Now, before I read it, it is rather long, boys and girls, but we don't have the assignment isn't going to take us very long, okay? But it is a long story, and I'm going to tell you it's a fairy tale. And do you guys know what a fairy tale is? Even if you're shaking your head, yes, I bet you do. But if you're shaking your head, no, you probably do. Have you guys heard Cinderella? How about Snow White? Okay, Disney does a great job of making movies out of fairy tales. Okay, so are fairy tales true or make-believe? Most of the time they're make-believe, and you can usually tell because maybe the animals are talking, or maybe like in Cinderella, you know how they turn the pumpkin into a carriage and the mice into horses. They're not true, they're make-believe, but what they all do have in common is they have characters in the story. I'm going to go ahead and start here. So our big book starts out with fairy tales. And fairy tales all have characters in the story. The characters are who's in the story. So in this story, Sophia is the girl. Sophia's mother is also in the story. There's a lady named Esperanza, and then Esperanza's brother, and he is the giant. He says, where does the story happen? Where does the story take place? That's called the setting. It says, in Sophia's house and in her garden. Okay? Now, this story is probably going to remind you of another story. So I don't think I'm going to tell you until we're done, and then I'll ask you the question. I'll see if it reminds you of another fairy tale that you've probably heard before. Okay, this is a really big book, so I think I'm going to have to go like this, and then I'll share the picture. Once upon a time, Sophia and her mother had a small garden. They planted tomatoes and jalapenos. Sophia loved to watch the plants grow. So here's Sophia and her mother working in their garden. They're planting tomatoes and jalapenos. Ooh, that would make a good salsa, wouldn't it? But it had not rained in months. The plants would not grow. We have no plants to sell, said Sophia's mother. Sell our cow at the marketplace, please. So what they used to do is grow the vegetables, and they would take it to the marketplace and sell the vegetables, and they would earn money. That's how they made their money. But it hadn't rained, so things weren't growing in the garden. So Sophia's mother tells her to take the cow and to sell the cow at the market. And she wants to get money for the cow, so they will have money for food and things they need, right? Sophia walked to the market. She met a man. Give me your cow and I will give you some special seeds, said the man. The seeds glittered. Sophia gave her cow to the man and took the seeds. So if you look at this picture, here's Sophia with the cow, and she meets this man, and the man says, I can't give you money for your cow, but I've got some special seeds. And the seeds were glittering. So do you think Sophia is going to take the seeds and give the man the cow, or do you think she's going to go onto the marketplace and get money for her cow? Let's see what happens. Sophia ran home. Mama, Mama, look at my new seeds. We do not need seeds, her mother said. Your new seeds will not grow without any rain. So her mother's a little bit angry because Sophia was supposed to get money for the cow, and she didn't. She got special magic seeds. Sophia looked at her beautiful seeds. But these are special seeds, she said. I know they will grow. She planted the sparkling seeds in her dry garden. So there's no rain. I see the sun, but seeds are not going to grow if there's no rain, right? Now Sophia thinks they are going to grow because the man told her they were special magic seeds. The next morning, Sophia ran outside. 3 very tall green plants stood in her garden. The seeds were special, Sophia said. I want to see what's at the top. She climbed and she climbed. So look, that grew really, really tall, way up into the sky, and she wants to know what's at the top, so she's going to climb. Look at how much higher she is than her house. Does it remind you of another story now? Sophia found 3 huge sunflowers above the clouds. Sophia stood on one flower and looked around. She saw a big house sitting on the top of the clouds. Ooh, look. She climbed all the way to the top of the sunflower, and she sees a house. What do you think she's going to do next, boys and girls? Sophia walked to the house. She saw a very tall woman. "Did you grow these flowers?" the woman asked. "Yes," said Sophia. "My name is Esperanza," the woman said. "Come in and tell me about your beautiful flowers." Sophia's going to go into the house. Esperanza gave Sophia 2 fried eggs for breakfast. "I have a small garden," Sophia told her new friend, "but there's no rain and my plants will not grow." So here they are, they're sitting there having breakfast, and she's telling her new friend Esperanza what she did, how the garden won't grow, and her mom was angry at her because she got the seeds instead of money. "I love flowers, but plants will not grow up here in the clouds," Esperanza said sadly. Suddenly, a booming sound came from the next room. "It is my brother, the giant," Esperanza cried. "He does not like visitors. Hide." Oh, there's a giant, you guys. Oh, look at him. He's coming out of the room. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. Where's that strange voice coming from?" That's the giant's voice. Does it remind you of this story? Yeah. Sophia hid behind a curtain, but she peeked at the giant. He turned and saw her. "Run!" yelled Esperanza. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I don't like visitors. You better run." There she is, hiding down here. She's hiding from him. The giant. Sophia ran back to the sunflowers, but the giant ran too. Esperanza ran after her brother. She held something white under her arm. Let's see if we can get a closer look. Look, do you see what Esperanza's holding? It's white. Let's keep reading and we'll find out. The giant was about to catch Sophia, but Esperanza knew what to do. She stuck out one foot. The giant fell as Sophia jumped back onto the sunflower. So look, Esperanza's trying to save Sophia, so she trips her brother. Her brother's the giant. She doesn't want the giant to get Sophia, right? Because they became friends. So Sophia is going to go back down the sunflower. Sophia quickly climbed down the sunflower. "Wait for me," Esperanza called. Esperanza climbed down too. The giant fell on a fat cloud. He was so big that rain poured out of the cloud. Yes, I bet. In Sophia's garden, Esperanza put a white hen on the ground. Oh, that's what it was. It's a chicken. "What is happening?" Sophia's mother asked. "I took my favorite hen," Esperanza yelled. "The giant will try to get the hen back." But Sophia's mother chopped each sunflower down. So look at, can you guys see where the giant's trying to come down? You see his foot? He's trying to climb down the big giant sunflower. But Sophia's mother's smart. She gets an axe and she chops it down. Seeds and rain fell from the sky. Sophia and her mother laughed as the plants grew all around them. Esperanza hugged the sunflower. Esperanza stayed with Sophia and her mother. The giant was very angry. He stomped on the clouds, and every time he did, rain fell. Sophia and her mother always had plants to sell at the market, and they ate eggs with tomatoes and jalapenos every morning for breakfast. And that was the end. Didn't you guys like that story? And I could even add this. They probably lived happily ever after because now they have food and it's raining and their plants will grow. Okay, so did it remind you of another story? Has anyone heard Jack and the Beanstalk? Yeah, that Jack threw the seeds and then a beanstalk grew and he climbed up the beanstalk and there was a giant up there too, right? So the stories were similar but different too. I just really like this story. Okay, and I know that was rather long, but the assignment will not take very long. I was kind of watching the clock here. We're almost at 10 minutes. So what I think we're going to do is just do one page. Now, on the back of it, we needed to read the story because there's something to do. But on the front, we need to read sight words. So really quick, I'm going to go over. Here's our new one. A and D is and here's the ones we've already had. I, here's C, like, this, at, and look. So boys and girls, if you can read those sight words that I just showed you, you will be able to read these sentences. You know what? I do not have a pencil here. Oh, yes, there is, way over here in the corner. Okay, it just says to read the sentences. And I need to put my glasses on real quick. It says, discuss the pictures, have partners read the sentences together. So you can read these to your parents or read them to a big brother and sister. You can color them when you're done. Sometimes when it's sentences like this, I like to underline, and then I know that I've read every word. So we've got look at this with a period. Oh, look, she's got a whole bunch of vegetables from her garden. This is not Sophia from the story, but she could be, right? And then this one says, I see this and this. So she's holding up an apple and a carrot, or maybe that's a tomato. Okay, could be an apple. I guess I see maybe fruits and vegetables there. I see this and this. Okay, down here it says, look at this and this. So we're practicing our sight word and again. She's got a banana. Oh, definitely that's an apple and a banana. Oh, and then this one says, I like this. And then, with the exclamation mark. So boys and girls, you just read that, read it out loud, practice reading those sentences. You can color it if you want. On the back of this one, this is called cause and effect. Cause and effect is, okay, let's say I drop my pencil, okay. Did something cause me to drop that pencil? Yeah, because I let go of it, I dropped it. Okay, or remember how in the story, the giant fell on the cloud and it caused the cloud to let go of the rain and the rain came down. Okay, so it says, have children think of something that happens in the story, Sophia and the sunflower. Ask them to draw what happens, the effect, in the right box and why it happened, the cause, in the left box. Encourage children to label their drawings. So there's different things you can say. I'm trying to think of something else here. Cause and effect. What caused Sophia to climb up the sunflower? Well, because she planted the seeds. So if you drew a picture of her planting the seeds here, then you would draw the big giant sunflower, okay? If she hadn't planted the seeds, she wouldn't be able to climb up, right? Okay. What caused her to get the seeds? Okay. Who gave them to her? The man, right? Okay, the man gave them to her. So you could draw a picture of the man giving Sophia the seeds here, and then her planting the seeds here. Okay. What caused, do you know at the end of the story, what caused them to have so much food? Okay, well, how did they get so much food? The eggs and the jalapenos and the tomatoes? Okay, because they came back down on the sunflower, right? And Esperanza had the hen with her. Okay, so for every cause, there's an effect. So if something happens, you can say, well, how did it happen? Well, I kind of like the one of the giant landing on the cloud. So I'm going to draw the cloud here. And there's a big giant. I might have to go back and look at the picture, but I'll do it for now. I'm going to draw like this. He's going, ah! And he fell, and he landed on the cloud. Okay, I might go back and try to do that better later. Okay, so here's the cloud, and he landed on it, and then what was the effect was, well, when he landed on it, it started to rain. And because it started to rain, then the plants started growing in the garden. So we can draw some different plants in the garden. Remember, she had tomatoes and she had, okay. And there was the sunflower was already growing. The big sunflower here was already growing. So that's one thing you can do. Now, boys and girls, you don't have to do the same thing that I did. Something from the story, okay, that has a cause and an effect. Okay, the reason it started raining at the end of the story is because the giant fell. And why did he fall? Because Esperanza tripped him. So that's another one, right? You could draw a picture of Esperanza tripping her brother, and then he fell. There's just so many things you can do. So two pictures that kind of go together, one thing that happens, and then how did it happen? The cause and the effect. I can't wait to see those. So take a picture of your work and put it on your Seesaw page.